Insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting different results. Now, I'm pretty sure Einstein never played a ranked game on the Summoner's Rift, but if he did, he would have realized that he just perfectly described the beginner's experience in League of Legends. We queue up, we get absolutely destroyed, we stare at the grey screen, questioning our life choices that led us here. And then, we hit find match again, and again, and again. I remember sitting at my desk at 2 in the morning, genuinely asking myself, am I just bad at video games? Like, fundamentally, neurologically bad? Because I had played games my entire life. Strategy games, shooters, RPGs, and nothing made me feel as completely helpless as League of Legends did in those first 2 months. But here's what I eventually figured out. The problem was that League of Legends does not teach you League of Legends. It teaches you how to right-click a minion and how to destroy a tower. That's it. It hands you a virtual pat on the back and says, "You're ready, go compete." And you believe it, because why wouldn't you? But what it doesn't tell you is that there are 4 massive invisible walls standing between you and actually improving. 4 pillars of knowledge so enormous that most people quit before they even realize they exist. Today, we are going to tear all 4 of them down. Pillar number 1. The burden of knowledge. Let's do some quick math. There are over 170 champions in this game. Every single one of them has a passive ability and 4 active abilities. That is roughly 850 unique spells. 850 things can kill you, stun you, charm you, silence you, or make you watch helplessly as someone heals back to full health and walks away, just as if nothing happened. That is what I call the "what just killed me" syndrome. And every single beginner goes through it. You're not being careless. You're not playing it wrong. You simply have no idea what any of these characters are capable of, because nobody told you. Think about it from a pure information standpoint. When a veteran plays against a set, they know his shadow mechanics. They know his ultimate. They know the exact window when he is and isn't dangerous. They position around that knowledge automatically. When a beginner plays against Zed, they see a spooky ninja, and they're dead. And the only way to build that knowledge is repetition, making mistakes and hopefully not making them again. Hundreds of games, thousands of deaths, there is no shortcut. You have to learn by suffering. And if surviving the champion wasn't enough, you eventually have to recall to base and open the shop. Which brings us to pillar number 2, little shopping spree. To a new player, opening the League of Legends shop for the first time feels like stepping onto the trading floor of Wall Street during a market crash, in the middle of an earthquake. And while someone is yelling at you in a language you don't speak. Nothing makes intuitive sense. Now, Riot Games knows the shop is completely overwhelming, so they added a recommended tab. It presents you with a few shiny items and basically says, just buy one of these, you'll be fine. So naturally, what do we beginners do? We turn off our brains. We just click whatever the game recommends on the start screen, or we download an overlay app and blindly follow the guide. And that works. For a while. Until it completely and catastrophically doesn't. Because here's one of the traps that nobody warns you about. Items in League of Legends are not universal. They are situational. The game expects you to look at the enemy team composition and think, okay, we have 3 tanks. Logically, I need armor penetration. They have a fat healer, I need grievous wounds. They are building full AP, I need Banshee's Veil. On top of that, you're not just buying flat stats like health or damage, you're buying essays. Every major item has unique passive abilities, active triggers, cooldowns, and stacking mechanics. The game expects you to stand in the fountain and read the fantasy novel about grievous wounds and armor penetration while a war is raging just outside your base. If you don't know that the enemy champion heals themselves, you won't buy the specific anti-heal item. And if you don't buy that item, you will lose the game.
Defeat.
Alright, let's say you actually make it. You grind through the champion pool, you learn the items, you feel like you finally have a handle on things. You're surviving in lane, maybe even getting some kills. And then League hits you with pillar number 3. Macro, the invisible game. When you first start playing, you genuinely believe League is a 1v1 duel on your lane. You focus everything, your entire brain, every muscle in your hands, on last hitting that one cannon minion. You are in the zone, you're grinding, you are getting better. What you don't realize is that League of Legends is not a fighting game. It is a chess match played in the dark. While you are staring at your lane, there are 9 other players doing things that will directly determine whether you win or lose. And most of them you can't even see.
I mean, I never buy pink wards. They're too expensive, in my opinion.
Yes, that was me. Saying that vision control, arguably the single most important passive habit in the entire game, was too expensive. 75 gold. I was choosing to play blind, because I didn't want to spend 75 gold. To be fair, nobody ever really explained how, where and when to use my wards properly. The tutorial didn't, my first few opponents didn't. I had to learn it the hard way, which in League means getting killed from off-screen by a jungler I never saw coming, approximately 40 to 70 times before I started asking questions. But macro is so much more than just words. Wave management alone could fill an entire video. Do you freeze the wave? Do you slow push? Do you hard shove and roam? Each of those decisions has downstream consequences that ripple across the entire map for the next 2 minutes. Make the wrong call and you lose CS, lose pressure and give the enemy jungler a free camp while you are out of position. Then there is knowing when to recall. Tracking the enemy jungler's position, understanding which objectives are worth fighting for and which ones are traps. Mechanical skill might win you a fight. Macro wins you the game. And the absolute cruelest part is that the game teaches you none of this. You have to fail hundreds of times just to realize this invisible layer exists. And then you have to fail 100 more times to start understanding it. There is a concept in League called the win condition. Every game has one, but most beginners never identify it. Are you playing a scaling champion who needs to survive early and take over late game? Are you on a team that needs to end before the enemy team gets too strong? Is there a specific objective, a Baron spawn, a Dragon Soul that will decide the entire game? Veterans read all of this in real time. They adjust their entire playstyle mid-game based on what's happening. For a beginner, it's like trying to read a book in a language you've only been studying for a week. And then there is pillar number 4, friends and enemies. The one that no amount of patience, no amount of study and no amount of determination can fully prepare you for. Your teammates. League of Legends is a team game, which sounds obvious, but what that actually means is that you only control 20% of your team. You are matched with 4 complete strangers every single game. 4 people with completely different skill levels, communication styles, emotional states and agendas. And you have to coordinate with all of them in real time, under pressure, with 0 preparation. Sometimes those 4 strangers are genuinely trying. Sometimes they're smurfs who effortlessly carry the game for you. But most of the time, and I say this with love, they are just as lost, just as frustrated, and just as emotionally volatile as you are. I was lucky enough to have someone actually try to teach me the game in real time. My boyfriend sitting next to me, calmly explaining exactly what to do, exactly where to go.
Is that too close?
Yeah, it is.
And I heard him. I understood him, and then I panicked and ran directly into the enemy team anyway. Because in the moment, all that coaching collapses into white noise. Your brain is in fight or flight. You stop processing information and you just react. That's the thing nobody tells you about learning League of Legends. Even when you know the right answer, the game is so fast and so overwhelming that you often can't execute on it. Knowledge and execution are two completely separate skills, and you have to develop both simultaneously. And layered on top of all of that is the psychological warfare. League of Legends has one of the most notorious toxic communities in all of gaming, and as a beginner, you are the primary target. You will be flamed for dying, you will be flamed for buying the wrong items, you will be flamed for not knowing a champion's kit on your first time playing against them. You will be told with complete confidence and zero empathy that you are the reason the team is losing, that you are bad, that you should uninstall. And here's the sinister thing. Some part of you will believe it, because you don't yet have enough experience to know whether it's true or not. So you initialize it, you tilt, your play gets worse, which generates more flame, which makes you tilt harder. It is a vicious, perfectly designed psychological spiral. The most powerful mechanical skill you can learn in League of Legends isn't a combo. It is not a word placement, it is 2 keystrokes. / mute all. Type it at the start of every game. Protect your mental, because your team chat will destroy you faster than any champion ever will. So, the knowledge of burden is mathematically impossible. The macro layer is invisible. The item system is a written exam you have to take mid-combat. And your teammates are trying to destroy your confidence as much as the enemy team is trying to destroy your nexus. The logical response to all of that is to close the client, uninstall, and never think about it again. And yet, we queue up again. But why? Why do we do this to ourselves? Because Riot Games, whether intentionally or accidentally, engineered one of the most perfectly calibrated dopamine traps in the history of gaming. Here is how it works. You can suffer for 60 days straight. You can go on a 10-game losing streak. You can be hard stuck in iron, dying to tea mushrooms in the same bush you've died in 17 times before. Your brain starts building a narrative. This is too hard. I'll never get it.
No, I hate Evelyn. I hate Evelyn so much.
And then, one game. Everything clicks. You hit a skill shot you had no business hitting. You dodge an ability you wouldn't have even seen 3 weeks ago. You notice the jungler on the minimap and you back off because you actually had a ward and you survived. And then you win the fight. And then you win the team fight. And then somehow, improbably, you win the game. And in that moment, that single specific moment, your brain completely erases the last 2 months of pain. All the flame, all the grey screens, all the deaths you didn't understand. It doesn't matter anymore, because for a few minutes you weren't a beginner. You were the threat. You were the one in the lobby that someone else was afraid of. And here's the other side of the trap that people don't talk about. You are always improving, even when it doesn't feel like it. Every death teaches you something, even if you don't consciously register it. Every game where you get flamed for not knowing something is a game where you learn this exact thing you didn't know before. The feedback loop is brutal, but it is constant and it is real. League of Legends is one of the hardest games on the planet to get into. That is a fact. The barrier to entry is not just high, It is a vertical wall made of 170 champions, thousands of items, invisible macro systems, and a community that eats beginners for breakfast. It is not beginner friendly. It has never been, and it probably will never be. But there is something on the other side of that wall. And once you start to feel it, once you start to understand even a fraction of this game, it becomes one of the deepest, most rewarding competitive experiences you will ever have. I went from iron to bronze without even noticing it was happening. Not because I suddenly became mechanically good. Not because I stopped dying to Teemo shrooms, I definitely still die to Teemo shrooms, but because I slowly, painfully, game by game started to understand why I was dying. And that is the first and most important step. You have to ask yourself after every bad trade, after every gray screen. Why? You can't just keep doing the same thing and expect different results. And honestly, there is a strange kind of beauty in sticking with something this brutally unforgiving. Surviving the trenches isn't just about getting better at a video game. It's proof of actual willpower. It takes genuine discipline to get knocked down 50 times, mute to toxicity, swallow your ego, and queue up again with the pure intention to learn. Refusing to give up when a system is designed to break you builds a kind of resilience that goes way beyond the Summoner's Rift. We complain about it, we sometimes genuinely hate it, but we will never stop playing it because we love it.